Hello, my little weirdos. Nope, not a political video. Not a bird and squirrel video. Nor one of my cat's videos. Or any art videos. You go, Judy, what the heck else do you do? It's all you do. That's not all I do, actually. I also write. I mean, not for a place, but I write. um, Today is one of those odd days. Yeah, there's a lot of them, I know. It's overcast, it's all socked in, it's not even gray, it's just white. Last night, late night, middle of like early morning, we were supposed to get like a rain or a slush rain. I woke up like at 6:30 and it snowed. And it's not a lot of snow, but weather is snow weather. It's flipping cold. And it started to melt a little, I guess, but it's like the bushes, it's like 1 o'clock, I think. Yeah, it's almost 2. And they're still crunchy on top, so it hasn't warmed up. And it wasn't just maybe a couple hours ago that they even blew the sidewalks off and iced them. So some of the things I was going to do, like take all the accumulated boxes out, because it's either been so cold or too windy for like weeks. And it was supposed to be, after it rained, it was supposed to be just socked in. And now I see it's, like I said, it snowed, so we had to wait till they de-iced. And by that time, now it looks like it's supposed to have quote rain showers throughout the day. Wee! So, when it's cold and wet, I've got a wrist and a knee, or a back, and a foot. Yeah. Ooh, you're full of, I'll be 62 next Thursday, actually. What I wanted to do today, with all the insanity that's occurring in America here, that's part of his thing, is they want to keep us reeling and focusing on different things so we don't see Elon Musk routing through our shit, our databases. But with all of that, even that shit got in the way of a long time, like a cyber poetry friendship of like well over a decade. And you think writers, you don't misunderstand each other, but that even caused a rift for the first time in our friendship. It caused a rift. We've mended it. We're fine. And that's the way mature adults that give about not just their feelings but others, resolve things. There was a little bit of anger and frustration on both ends, but neither one of us could quit reaching out hours later and be like, I just want you to understand, So, with all of that crap happening, the cats, this is the second day it's been kind of sucked in, they're not, they're older, they're hurting too. And I started thinking about the shit that he's done to our allies. Now, I've got paper towel here, because why I have no mascara on, because I might cry, but it's not sad cry. I think, is a good time for story time. Not a story of my life. One of my 2 favorite stories out of 9/11. I'm already tearing up. Because I want Americans to remember that we're fellow countrymen, and it's not about parties anymore. It's about being an American used to be, and we didn't have any complaints about inclusive, I mean, any huge things like this until one person came along and convinced you guys otherwise. So I want to tell you one of my two favorite stories from 9/11. If you can have a favorite story from 9/11. I might have to do a pause. One is that Operation Boat Lift, and I'll get the facts more and I'll do a story time of that if you guys want me to. If you want me to, let me know. And you can reach out to me other than in the comments. But I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Facebook, occasionally on Instagram, not on X, haven't been for years. But anyway, the other one is about Operation Yellow. I can't even get it out. Operation Yellow Ribbon. And it has to do with our beloved upstairs neighbors, Canada, and how a tiny little town just was so incredible for Americans and others on the flights. I'll be back. Okay. So Gander, Newfoundland, Canada, Nova Scotia, is the crossroads of the world. It's like perfect for between continents, for flying, between continents and things like that, and nations and things. It's just perfectly positioned between other. Anyway, that's not the story. The story is the town. Now, it's not a huge town, and when 9/11 hit, now I'm not reading anything, I'm telling you the basics story. When 9/11 hit, there were all the planes all over the country, and they were grounded, as many of you may remember. Some maybe weren't born or too young. Obviously, since once we realized that it was more than just one plane had been hijacked, actually four that we knew of, two hit the one each tower, one hit the Pentagon, and one they believe was headed to the Capitol. That was the one that the passengers, that's another story. Okay, there's more than a few favorite stories. There's Flight 93 too. We can do that one if you want. But the passengers realized what was happening and were told somebody had already crashed into, and they knew they had to bring it down. They knew that this plane was being sent somewhere, and not good. And they'd rather bring it down and kill themselves than let those people do what they wanted to do. So there's more than two. So there was a lot of planes, and the closest in the air, and the closest airport was in Gander. It's not a big town, mind you. I can't tell you more than just a few planes. All were notified. Gander was notified, where the airport was, that we had X amount of planes being rerouted to land at you until this is under control. Obviously, everybody knew about what was going on in the world, and they understood that Americans were going to, if they put out a call, y'all need to answer it, because everybody, there was like endless countries that had people in those towers, it wasn't all Americans. There was hundreds of people that were from other countries at work there. That always kills me. They were so angry with America that they were willing to take out people from other countries, and that always angers me. I'll be back. Alright. I'm just wiping and pulling a nose. Y'all don't want to need to see that. And I was like, okie dokie. How many you got? And they started galvanizing. They probably easily doubled their population with all the plain inhabitants in a matter of hours. And they had to come up with places for everybody to sleep. Mind you, there was children involved too. And they had to not only find places for them to sleep. I mean, they went to the school and they made the gymnasiums and classrooms, moved everything. People were laying down, everybody was donating blankets and, you know, I mean, just a safe, warm place, you know. They were, I mean, shops and stores were just, if you needed clothing, you know, because they couldn't get all their stuff out. We didn't know what was going to happen. And, you know, stores just helping with food, families taking whoever they could in that really needed, like they had infants or something. I mean, seriously, whatever was needed, they did. And they went above and beyond, taking care, mostly Americans, but there was other, you know, people, countries. But not only did they take care of a roof over their head, food, they ministered to them emotionally. I mean, these were people that had no idea what was going on in their country. They were in the air when shit happened. You know, like the terminal with Tom. They were like, what's happening? And in a country they don't know, didn't expect to be in. And because these planes weren't headed there. They were redirected to the nearest airport. But these townspeople not only ministered to that with love and understanding and compassion and comfort, but for the days they were there, they tried to occupy the children, distract them, you know, do fun things with them, because let their parents have a little bit of a break, so they could have a little bit of a break like this, you know, and get it out a little bit. Because the Canadian people they understand that people have more than just keeping them alive physically. And not only did they know that, but they extended that to every single passenger on every single plane, leaving nobody out and nobody with less. And we didn't all know about it, like we didn't know about a lot of the stories, like Flight 93 and Operation Boat Lift, and the others. We didn't know as it was happening. We just knew where they were. We didn't know, there was so much information being sent back and forth and clogging the lines with emergency services and transport and things like that from all over the country. People, firefighters, and search and rescue with and without dogs from all over this country, from California and Oregon and Washington through Tennessee and us in Jersey. I mean, sending police and anybody they could spare, firefighters, police, like I said, just Red Cross helpers, just all kinds of help, but also from other countries like that. And I chose the Gander one today. I chose this story, as you may have guessed, because of the way the rapist felon president of ours, not mine, of theirs, has been treating all of the countries, but you guys especially. And I just want to remind Canadians that I don't blame anything y'all do, and I know you're trying not to hurt those who didn't vote for this, but I'm just really worried. Even if we were able to stop shit right now, I'm worried that he and his minions have created such an atmosphere of not knowing if you can trust us, because we fixed the first 4 years and we were going cool, and then we fucking stupidly brought him again. And I can see how you and our other allies are looking at us going, what the F with America? We thought they were back on track. Now what the hell? And I'm afraid that even when he's dead and gone, even if we stop this shit today, it has completely forever ruined our relationship with the other Four Eyes and with the rest of the world. He yanked us out of everything that helps with other countries, that we work together to help other countries. And it's not like I wouldn't understand if he didn't trust us anymore, even after him. And I'm not going to say if there's an after him, but just the fact of knowing that Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, people that have been our allies in our own form, in our own group, that have been allies for as long as I remember, and I'll be 62 next week. And it really upsets me that America's letting you down. And I just want you to remember, regardless what you have to do, I get it, but just remember, when he's gone, and when we finally eradicate MAGA, there's still half of us, at least, who you still can trust. I'm sorry. I'm doing the stuffed nose, red eye crying. It's just that you guys, you four, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK, we've been buddies. I mean, y'all followed us into other people's wars for the right reasons, for altruistic reasons. I mean, I'm so sorry. If any of you happen to have any ideas on how to stop him / them, speak up. I mean, one of the reasons Democrats aren't doing anything is, if you don't know, Democrats don't have the majority in any of the three branches. Republicans obviously have the White House, the executive. He's last term of his 8 years, he stuffed the Supreme Court was with his little cultists so much, and the Republicans let him. They outvoted the Dems, and now even in the two houses of Congress, the margins are slim, but they're still there, where they outnumber us. Sometimes it's by 1 or 2, but it still outnumbers. So they're throwing all kinds of shit out, but a lot gets blocked. And that's why it was hard to get shit through during Biden's term. But they got a lot through nonetheless, the Democrats. They just got tired and started steamrolling like the Republicans do. And that's why it doesn't look like, well, if the Democrats, well, why don't they do? That's why. They are, but they don't have the majority anywhere. Now, there are a lot of judges around the country that were Biden appointed and Obama appointed that are fair. They don't look at their cases as political parties, which is what the current administration does. It's called weaponizing. And weaponizing the justice system, which they have accused us of doing for over 8 years. And against them. And that's not true. And that is why you don't know how that's a very basic, explanation of the way our federal government basically works. And there's a lot of things that the president can't just make a signature to, which is an executive order, such as everything that Elon's doing. Those are things that the Congress created, and only the Congress can dissolve. Those are jobs that only they've already allocated the funds to these programs, and only Congress can change them. The reason they're doing this is because he wants to, again, like he did in his first term, give this huge tax cut to his rich buddies that are ripping us off because they're all in on it now, and others that keep them in those positions by their donations, Murdoch and stuff. And that way it's insidious what they're doing. And I want you to remember that there's half of us that feel like me here. They might not express it that way, but we sure the hell didn't vote red. I can guarantee you there's half of us, because no matter what they tell you, no matter what Republicans tell you, Donald Trump barely won by a slim 1 point something percent. A slim margin. They do not have the majority vote. They do not have the mandate to just recklessly do what they wish because that's what most of the country wants. It's not. And just because they keep repeating it doesn't make it so. Repeating a lie over and over doesn't make it so. It just makes you a cult leader. Yeah, because that's a brainwashing technique. Tell a lie, tell it every time you speak, wherever you are, and then you say people are saying when it's only you who's saying it. Eventually, other people say it, and then you've backed up. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how that works. So it's not like he's just running roughshod, but remember, and we're not doing anything. The Republicans, I just put out a video this morning telling them to quit whining about I didn't vote for this. Get off your effing ass. and start screaming at your representatives. But they won't, because then they'll have to admit they were in a cult. That's the problem. And I told you why it's not looking like Republicans, because not enough is even getting out past the floor, and the Republicans voted down. And since they have like one or two people more, they're always winning now. And remember that everything that's going on is the responsibility of the Republicans. Nobody else, because this is not bipartisan. Okay? At all. They're running right over them and all their objections. And what it is they're leaving us to do, we're trying to do the way democracy is, we're trying to hold the democracy. But we're trying to fight a mob ring on a national level by being civil. And you can't sometimes. They want a civil war, a physical, stop doing that, get the hell out of my way, F you. Well, fuck you. You know, they want that. We're trying to avoid that. And that's a very quick synopsis on why it looks like Democrat leadership isn't doing anything. Well, we spent years doing things, telling you, podcasts, videos like mine, like middle channels, like moderate channels, like huge channels, all repeating the same thing in our own ways. What else do you want from us? We did our part in the democracy. We even did more by telling the people, you're in a cult, please just listen. If you have any suggestions on how to change cultists' minds, because it's a political cult, and that's dangerous. Uber dangerous. If anybody has experts on this shit, speak up now, or you may be forever holding your peace. Not a desirable way. It's scary out there. Who's going to be the next American Anne Frank? You know, I'm trying to find the appropriate word instead of saying snitch. Who's going to be where, if it gets to that point, that they're going to start saying, pointing out, you know, which? And the Republican voters, now they're yelling and crying. Guys, he's only been in the office 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And everybody is this exhausted. Even those of us who are trying to keep their keel even. Even those of us who knew this would happen and they knew what the Democrats would counter with, like me, because I spent hours being informed on it and then more hours doing this to give you an hour's worth of people's videos in maybe 15 minutes. But I wanted to tell you that story because of the way the current administration has treated you. That was especially egregious to me. All of it was egregious to all of them, to everybody. But to you guys, that triggered me. That I was already triggered, him doing this shit, even knowing, because some of this shit we had no clue he was gonna try. Some we knew tariffs, we were telling you that. But there was some shit like the Elon crap that we did not expect that. It's only been 2 weeks, guys. Um, a representative Democrat last night or this morning is announced that he is drawing up papers for impeachment. Immediate. Just the more you know. So, Canada, thank you for Gander. Thank you for being our upstairs neighbor. I don't want to cry again. I'm sorry, because the ones who have done this don't have the humanity enough to apologize. So I'll apologize. The side that was with you and still is, I'll apologize for their crassness and for their bullying, manhandling. I love you, Canada. Peace out.